What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for April 26, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Feel Good Friday edition of the podcast. Some Fridays are more feel good than others. This happens to be one of those Fridays. So much to get to. And when I say we have a big show, I gotta be on the road by a certain time. And here I am, I'm going to be late today because there's so much to get to. But as always, let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, what was your prediction for the Sixers-Knicks game? Now, 100% said the Sixers were going to win. 73% of you said it was close. Now, look, it was not the blowout I thought it was going to be. However, they still won by double digits. Play the song. Now we have a Sunday matinee down at the Wells Fargo Center before we head back to New York. I'm looking forward to Sunday's game so much now, and I'm going to be watching it out on the back patio because it's going to be beautiful. But as always, thanks for participating in the question of the day. There will be another question in the show later on. And 267-495-8531 get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Let's stick with the Sixers. Great win. 125, 114, I believe it was. I was between that and the draft. But either way, they won by double digits. Joe was outstanding from the three-point line, 5 for 7. Had his career high, dropped a 50-burger. It was the first 50 spot since AI did back in 2003. And if you are a loyal listener, you know about that game because we just talked about it a couple days ago. But I love that this is a rivalry. I really do. And this, hopefully this is something that comes up to like continues to go as we go. It's like that old school vibe, old school feel. But I have to say a couple things that stuck out to me. First and foremost was the physicality of this. And Joe was a little emotional. And I'm not sure who is the one who is kind of reining him in, whether it's Nurse, whether it's Batum, Lowry. Somebody is in his ear because I don't mind the first foul he had with the knee because I don't think he did that on purpose. And he was in his face. We'll deal with that. But the one where he grabbed his legs, you can't do that. Like, that's just dangerous. And that's one of those plays where had it occurred, and I'll keep it completely biased or unbiased, had that happened to Joe, we'd be losing our shit right now. So, Joe, you got to get better, but he got it under control. It was a very physical game, and you could see, and I think what I noticed is 3 games into this series, yes, the Knicks are up, but I think other than like the starting 5, the Sixers are by far the superior team. It's the bench, and the bench played better yesterday, and I think that was the key to yesterday's game. However, if you really look at the totality of all 3 games, the Sixers have outplayed the Knicks minus those little spurts in games 1 and 2, and they were able to keep them at bay, and I don't know whether it was adjustments from Nick Nurse for this game, whether it was the home crowd, whatever it was, they were able last night to kind of answer the Knicks, they counterpunch the Knicks punch, where they did not do that up in New York. So if you look at all 3 games in totality, the Sixers have outplayed the Knicks. And I'm sure there are some Knicks fans out there being, what are you talking about? Yes, they have thoroughly outplayed the Knicks. And you saw some frustration there, especially with DiVincenzo on the Knicks. And I think that's something that's key to watch going into game 4. So, we'll get more into it. We have the extra day, which is huge. I'll get more into breaking down that game. But expect them to come out, and you got to be able to hit their counterpunch or be able to take their punch and counterpunch on Sunday. And I think they will. And, I mean, Joe had his career playoff high. He's suffering from a mild case of Bell's palsy on top of everything else. Jesus, this dude, is the most, and he's just powering through. He looked the best to me, conditioning-wise, that he has the whole series. And the fact that he scored 50 with half of his face being all messed up, one leg, and he's only going to get better. I think we're in a good spot. Like I said, Sunday just became huge, and they made a point, and to kind of wrap it up here, Allah said it. He was like, old school, like nobody even batted an eye when you got down 2-0 because you were like, okay, we're going home. We'll win our home games, and then we'll go from there. And that's where the Sixers are right now. So I'm looking forward to Sunday. But I like I said, I saw some of that frustration creeping in on the Knicks, and like it was a different type of frustration. It was kind of like, ugh. And maybe I'm wrong, but you kind of read some body language. But I like it. It's got that old school feel to it, and I'm looking forward to Sunday's game. And I think Dante DiVincenzo just overtook Spencer Strider as the most punchable face in sports. God, I hate that dude. But more of that. So give it to him. And also, don't sell your tickets for Sunday, numbnuts. Like, there was way too many Knicks fans in the arena yesterday early in that game. So come on. Don't be that guy or gal that sells your tickets, man. Go to the game on Sunday. Be better. Be better, Sixers fans. Be better if you have tickets to that game. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast, wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. They had a lot going on with playoffs this week, so be sure to check them out. Hit me up on social media at Jimbo_Mont, TikTok and Twitter, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jimbo_Mont. Tell your friends, tell grandma, tell whoever, tell your crazy Uncle Eddie, whatever you got to do, get it done. Let's grow this thing. And we got fun things on the horizon. I'm looking forward to the next couple months and just some of the things I have planned. So spread the word. Let's grow this thing, and let's get ready for Sunday's Sixers game. A couple quick housekeeping things before we move on. If you're interested in information about the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame induction class, all that information is in the link in the description, as well as ticket information. And if you do have a business or a restaurant and want to be a sponsor or have something that you can donate for an auction, hit me up too. We're looking forward to that. And it does not necessarily have to be a sports related thing. So if you have an experience I'm going to be hitting up some people this weekend. Does not have to be sports specific. So all that information is in the description. Hit me up if you have any questions. A lot of good feedback about the pen relays yesterday. Not so much about the event, but a lot of people like the DJ Clue CD references, brought them back to the old school. I had some people, and I completely forgot about this. Not only would you get the CDs so you knew what was going to be hot this summer, but I completely forgot about the dudes selling the fake Oakleys and how like you used to work with whoever you went down there with and like 2 for $25 or whatever, and you thought you were the coolest thing ever with the fake Oakleys with all the different colors. So good call. I had a couple people bring them up. I had a couple older old school guys bring up watches, and I wasn't really into the watch thing. It was mostly the CDs, and I completely forgot about the Folkleys. So good call on that. Took me back. I think I really want to go down there this weekend and get a pair of those fake Oakleys because I feel like those things last. I mean, it probably were not even safe for your eyes. It was like looking at the eclipse with no glasses, but damn, did they look cool. So thank you for taking me back for that. But yeah, the DJ Clue CDs and then the Folkleys. Great call. Lots of good comments too on Captain Noah. Took a lot of people back, and that's such a Philly thing. So if you're not from Philly or you don't know Captain Noah, it basically was like every other children's show that played in the morning, but it had a little Philly flair to it. I watched a couple clips yesterday, and it was good to hear his Philly accent. So kudos to everyone who commented, and I can't believe I forgot about the Folkleys, man. That was good. Like I said, I think I want to go down and buy a couple CDs, maybe a couple bootleg movies and some Folkleys and be good to go and take it back to 1996. Anyway, let's move on. Good win for the Phils, 5-0. They salvaged the split with Cincinnati. They're out in San Diego tonight, and if I haven't told you 100 times already, I hate West Coast baseball. But this is what we got this weekend. Zach Wheeler just breaking news. This is in. He's damn good. 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 8 Ks. I was listening. I got out a little. I was able to walk before the kids got off the bus and was listening to the Phillies game between. I forget. I think it was on my drive actually, or a walk. Either way, but they were saying that the stat that struck me is only 2 pitchers in Phillies history have gone back-to-back games where they've only given up 1 hit, and Zach Wheeler is one of them. The other one happened in 1986, and I forget the dude's name. I want to say Marvin Freeman, and it is not Marvin Freeman. I will look that up. But either way, the fact that in the 100 and whatever year history of the Phillies, it's only happened twice, is pretty impressive. Bryce was back from maternity leave, hit a homer, 2 RBI. Trey Turner is hot, 3 for 5. Orion Kerkering, I like what they did with him. Rob Thompson left him in to try to get at the 2 innings. And if you remember last year in the playoffs, that's what killed him, was going back out for the 2nd inning. He didn't quite finish the job. I would have liked to have seen him, but again, it was that dicey area. He's probably snake bitten or Topper was probably a little because of what happened the last time when they had the 9-0 lead in Wheeler's last outing and almost blew it. But good stuff for him. 2.5 games back heading into this weekend out in San Diego. Should be a good one, but I hate West Coast baseball. But good win for the Phils. I think they went 8-2, or not 8-2. That was the homestand. They started off 2-2 now on this road trip, and Cincinnati's not a bad team, so we will take that. But things are looking good for Philly, and I can't wait for. It's going to be a fun weekend between the draft, Phillies and Sixers. So we talked yesterday about the Philly Fanatics birthday, and it's almost like we share a brain, Ryan and I from Philly Goat. Of course, he has a Philly Fanatic shirt, brand new. Just hit it yesterday. Got the email. It's the Feast mode, and it's a little edgier Fanatic riding his ATV. Go check it out. It's actually a pretty cool looking shirt. Get that. Get geared up for Eagle season. Get your Philly Connect gear. Anything you need, they have you covered. When I say, sometimes you have to scroll down through some of the. Hold on, my charger just. There we go. But sometimes you need to scroll down through the pages to see some of the older stuff. And it's just phenomenal what they have. So go check it out. PhillyGoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Get your Embiid shirts. Get your Maxey shirts. The Philly Fanatic. Bryce Harper. The Philly Connect. I mean, Rocky Balboa. Mr. Sandman from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You name it, they got it. Go check it out. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Make sure it's all one word. Jim Montgomery, all one word, 10% off your order, and let's do this. All right, the hits just keep on coming today. The Eagles, man. First of all, A.J. Brown ain't going nowhere. So 94 WIP, anybody else who was like, oh, they're trade rumor, shut up. He ain't going nowhere. 3-year, $96 million extension. He's here till 2029. And this shows me one thing. This shows me that Howie Roseman is all in on this year. And ultimately, I kind of think in a roundabout way, they're putting the pressure on Jalen Hurts in a good way, saying, look, dude, you want your consistency? You want it? He's got it now. The next 3 years, at least from a player perspective, he should not have much turnover, if anything. I don't know if anybody's beating down Kellen Moore's door for a head coaching job, so hopefully he'll be back too. But they're all in, and they're like, here's your consistency. Here's what you need, Jalen. Let's see what we can do. And I think that's part of why they probably kept Sirianni. I know there's still a lot of people out there that are like, Sirianni. But great move, I think. I don't know how they're coming up with this money, and quite frankly, I don't care. I did hear on the radio yesterday that apparently it has to do with a lot of owners won't spend all that money up front. And Jeffrey Lurie's like, Howie, here's my checkbook, make it happen, but we'll take it. And that was the good news And then the better news was the draft. So there was a run on quarterbacks. I'm not going to judge anybody else's picks, but there were some questionable calls there. But between the receivers, quarterbacks, and then there was a run on offensive linemen, it was almost like a fantasy draft where you kind of see, and you, like as you're going down the board, you're like, holy shit, this guy's going to fall to me. This guy's going to fall to me. This guy's going to fall to me. And as it got closer, as it got to like pick 14 of straight offensive picks, I'm like, all right, we are in Howie range now. And Howie, I'm sure, was on the phone, keeping an eye on what was going on. And then there was a run on edge rushers. And like the first round of this draft could not have played out more perfectly for the Eagles. And so it gets to the Eagles pick at 22, and there's Quinyon Marshall, and his name is escaping me right now. The dude from or Quinyon Mitchell, and then the dude from Alabama whose name is escaping me. The Eagles went Quinyon Marshall, quarterback from Toledo. This dude is fast. This dude is strong. He's a 3-year start. Like, he has the experience. And I think, to me, that was the difference maker between him and the guy from Alabama, which for whatever reason, his name is slipping my mind. Quinyon Marshall has the experience. And yes, it's at Toledo. That, to me, would be the one knock against him. There's questions about his press coverage, which I don't know if that was more of a schematic thing at Toledo or whether that was he just couldn't do it, because I feel as though everything I read and looked at him, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I mean, I did research a little bit. He's a strong dude, so he should be able to play the press coverage. But I think we're okay with that. But the dude is strong. Many people had him ranked the best cornerback. If not, it was the dude from Alabama. A lot of people had him going top 10, top 12. So the fact he fell to 22 is great. It's going to be fun in the weight room because between Jalen and Saquon already squatting like ridiculous amounts for a cornerback, this dude squats 555 pounds. So it's going to be I would love to just be in that weight room between all of these guys and just see what it's like, and just then me go and put up 45s on each side of the bar and struggle to do 10. But that's okay because it's a work in progress. He does have the connection to Sirianni. A couple of his coaches at Toledo started their coaching careers with Sirianni, so I'm sure that played a role in it. But I like this move a lot. Again, the only thing I'm struggling with is the fact that he played at Toledo, but he was receiving offers to big-time schools. And he kind of had that, if you didn't want me when I was out of high school, you don't get me now type vibe to him, to the point where he didn't even change his number. Like, I guess they did the single-digit things at Toledo like how Temple did, and he stuck with 27 because this is the number that got me here. So I like that. He's kind of dedicated, hard worker. I think this is a good fit. It's possible that he could step in and be a starter, but he's going to learn from Slay. I saw mixed reviews on his tackling, but at this point, I don't even know if anybody's going to be able to tackle next year because of the stupid rules. So we'll see how they go. But I love this pick for the Eagles. And now we got 2 picks today. I don't think we have a 3rd-round pick this year, and I might be out, but I know we have 2 2nd-round picks, 50 and 53. So let's go. It's officially Howie season, and I love every second of it. So good. I like this move, and the fact that this dude felt him. And if you haven't done so already, check out and Google the Michael Parsons reaction to Quinyon Mitchell. This dude, like, he wants to be in Philly so bad. It's so funny. So go check that out. Quick Flyers note. Jacob Voracek officially retired. This is important because he spent 10 years in Philly, and he is 10th on the Flyers all-time points list, 5th on their assist list. Just a great guy, great player. Unfortunately, concussions got the best of him, and he didn't play at all last season, so he's hanging it up. So congratulations to Jake Voracek on a great career. All right. Today, we're going to go back to 1976, and on this day in 1976, the Phillies won 10-9 over the Cincinnati Reds. Yesterday's pitching hero, Jim Cott, got roughed up a little bit, gave up 6 earned runs, 11 hits, and 2 homers. But the offense was on fire at the Vet that day. Dave Cash went 4 for 5 for 4, scored 4 runs and a triple. Larry Bowa went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. Bobby Tolan, yeah, that's right, first baseman Bobby Tolan. Don't know if I know Bobby Tolan. Forgotten Philly, and Forgotten Phillies. That might be a good idea for a future spot here on This Day in Philly Sports History. But anyway, Bobby Tolan homered and had 3 RBI. I'm going to ask my dad about Bobby Tolan because I honestly don't know. If you know Bobby Tolan, hit me up. But the big story was Mike Schmidt went 3 for 5 with 2 homers and a double. Those 2 homers were number 10 and 11 for the month of April. We briefly touched on this a couple days ago, but he set the Major League Baseball record for home runs in April. The current record is 14 by 4 guys: Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, Cody Bellinger, and Christian Yelich. Mike Schmidt did that 11 home runs in 12 games, and Schmidt just is the best to ever do it. Once I finally get a chance to rearrange the studio, I'll put the Mike Schmidt autograph behind me. But my all-time favorite Philly, Mike Schmidt, went 3 for 5 today in 1976, hitting 2 home runs, giving him 10 and 11 for the month of April, setting the Major League Baseball record, which would eventually be broken by Albert Pujols, and currently held by Pujols, A-Rod, Cody Bellinger, and Christian Yelich. Finally today, our Philly sports team with unfinished business. It's the 1979-1980 Sixers. They went 59-23. They were the 2nd seed in the East. They went through the playoffs, beat the Bullets, beat the Hawks, beat the Celtics, kind of rolled that year through the playoffs, made the NBA Finals for the 2nd time in 5 years, and this team was stacked. Dr. J, Mo Cheeks was on this team, Darryl Dawkins, Caldwell, and Bobby Jones. The mayor, Steve Mix, and yes, I will throw the mayor in there every time just because. But they lost 4-2 in the finals, and this was just a ridiculous finals. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was not in Game 1, so Magic Johnson starts at center. Rookie Magic Johnson, 42 points, and that just sort of, I think Magic Johnson does not get enough due as one of the all-time greats. I would not put him above Michael, Kobe, and LeBron, but I could certainly make the argument for Magic being 4 or 5 of the greatest players of all time. In fact, in an NBA Finals game, he played center and scored 42 points. Is just, let that sink in. Like, imagine Tobias Harris. I mean, maybe a bad example, but Tobias Harris playing center in this playoff series, let alone the NBA Finals, and then scoring 42 points. This NBA Finals also produced the iconic Dr. J behind the backboard scoop. That happened in Game 4. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, or you're a younger fan out there, Google Dr. J scoop behind the basket or something, or just Dr. J final shot against the Lakers, and you'll see it. One of the greatest shots in NBA history. Just came down, drove the baseline behind, scooped it up and in, but it was not meant to be. The Sixers lost their second NBA Finals in 5 years. They would still get there another couple times before finally winning one. And really, you could probably put that 76 team through the 82 team in one unfinished business, but I like to break them down because each of these was different, and this was the Magic Johnson game that really killed them. But today's Philly sports team that left a little bit of meat on the bone was the 79-80 Sixers. On this day in 1976, Phillies beat the Reds. Mike Schmidt hitting 2 home runs, giving him 11 for the month of April, setting the Major League Baseball record, which is now owned by 4 guys: Albert Pujols, A-Rod, Bellinger, and Christian Yelich. Every day that little wrench set falls. Anyway, what does Howie have in store? Let me know. But the question of the day, and we're going to kind of end on a little bit of a down note, it got me thinking, this whole Dr. J era Sixers, which is, and this could be another feature we do, a tournament of most disappointing eras, but which era was more disappointing? The Dr. J Sixers era, despite winning one championship, even though they got to, I believe, 5, or the Donovan McNabb Eagles era? Which one is it? 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Let's have a little bit of fun with that. Which one was more disappointing? And I know Dr. J's Sixers won a championship, but which was more disappointing? Dr. J's Sixers era or not Allen Iverson? Allen Iverson was kind of, but it was a different thing. I don't think it qualifies. Or Donovan McNabb's Eagles tenure. Let me know. 267-495-8531. Get you in. Howie, make some moves today. Make some magic. We got a couple days off before we have that Sunday matinee against the Knicks. Be sure to hit me up on social media. Like and subscribe. All that other good stuff. It's a feel-good Friday. And again, this one is a little bit more feel-gooder than the rest. So go. Have yourselves a Friday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.